Hi, welcome to Full Disclosure for Freedom. My name is Tia Akrish. By day, I am a Chinese medicine herbalist, and by night, a secret space program alter. And that is my topic of discussion for today. I do not want to be an alter. I do not want to be spliced. I do not want to be a part of the secret space program in this way. And that is why I am a secret space program whistleblower. I believe that anything related to mind control, especially in terms of recording your mind so that you can be abducted at night or any other way, and then be a secret soldier up in space, a true covert mission is wrong. And I have been painstakingly coming to this conclusion for quite some time now. And a lot of confusion has been with me over these past 5 years as I have been remembering being a military abductee, a government experiment, and used as what I call a slave. Why am I a slave? Well, I'm not benefiting from any of this hard work up there right here, right now. In fact, I have great pains, a lot of pain as a result of this splicing. And that's what I want to talk about today. I have been working extremely hard these past few years to stay afloat, to survive. And why is this? Well, I want to share with you what I have recently learned, because see, when I started remembering the secret space program and the kind of technology that they have, I made a promise to myself that if I was ever given the opportunity to serve in such a covert way, that I would say no, that I would not allow myself to be essentially what I consider a mutilation. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed that I would not be used against my will. Now, the technology that enables the alters, and let me quickly go over it, okay? So that you can all understand at least what I'm talking about. If this is the first time that you are hearing of such tech, they have the ability to portal you in an instant, to take you and replace you in less than a second's time. They also have the ability to erase your mind, and they can program you, okay? And by programming, there are different types, and this is technology that has been refined over a very long period of time. There's the old MK Ultra style programming, but then there is very high tech that actually records your brain patterns, the electrical impulses, and can take that information out of your mind, and it can also input it back into your head. And they can do this with your own mind, and they can actually use thoughts generated by other people and integrate it with your own mind. And when they do this, you can call that an alter. And then they also, of course, have control over age and healing. And a person can literally serve in this capacity for hundreds and thousands of years. There are some people in the secret space program that are thousands of years old. Okay. And so because they have control over your body in this way, when they splice you back into your bed, you don't know it, you are the same age that you left. They are using your body. This is another, I'm going to call this a form of cloning technology. In a sense, it is, in my opinion, parasitical, okay? This is a parasite type of technology, and it is criminal. Especially because of the levels to the degrees that they can control your mind. I am being used like this. Now, why was I chosen? Okay, I was chosen because I have psychic abilities, and believe it or not, this is how the secret space program works. But I'm also somebody who can do a lot of different things. You know, I'm an herbalist, I'm a small business owner, I'm a musician, I draw, I do martial arts. Okay, these are things that I do right now in this life. And I know that I have the capacity to do other things. I've remembered being a lawyer. I've remembered being a doctor, that my abilities and capacity, okay, in terms of the types of things that I can do as a person is very varied. This is something that they look for. Okay. But my mind is a different kind of mind. And I am actually going to try and make this short today. So I want to go into this actually in some greater detail. But I have learned over the years that my experience and the way I think and the way I dream and the way I see is I have the ability to connect to my subconscious much easier than other people. And that because of this, I've been remembering the secret space program my whole life. I was used as a child. I believed that the SSP was an honorable organization up to this point, that it was reformed in a sense, but I've come to the conclusion that it most certainly has not. Now, in addition to my psychic abilities, okay, and there are different programs I've been used in actually and by different governments. And in the American military, this is not so prominent. It's more in the German breakaway military. But I had believed that the American military was reformed and had become the good guys, okay? But I do not believe this to be the case anymore. And I know that I have said no a million times, that I do not want to be used like this. And it is still happening. Now, because of my ability to remember, and I remember constantly, okay, every single moment of every single day, I am remembering, okay, because from what I understand, at least at this point in time, they have the ability to erase your mind in the front aspect of it. But there are multiple copies made of your memories within your own body, and especially in your subconscious. And because I have that access to my subconscious much easier than most, I am remembering constantly. And every single freaking day, I get these memories. And part of my problem is that the timeline keeps changing and I keep getting more and more information about how it's changing. And every single time I repeat myself to say, no, 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 I do not want to be used like this. It changes and it changes again. And I am being manipulated in the very least by the SSP as an organization or corrupt people within the SSP. I want to talk about that. But before I go into that, I'm going to share a drawing that I made of my experience. This is something I need people to understand what my daily experience is like and how hard and difficult it is. This is a drawing I made of my mind, okay? This is a slice of my spliced mind, okay? Now, what I want people to see, hopefully it's recording this, I'll be moving that around. There's a thing called the veil, okay? And the way I understand things now, the veil is the barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So this gray thing right here, this is my veil, okay? All of these bubbles are my thoughts. And I chose this here section. This is my conscious mind. And I decided to use purple for my conscious mind. And all of these bubbles are thoughts of the person that I am today, right here on earth. And each purple bubble is a legitimate thought of mine that I'm having in this incarnation, in this life. And every other bubble that is any other color is a thought and a feeling and a memory from these other splices. And you can see it is essentially an invasion of my mind. And when something is open and clear, that means that it is an open thought that I am fully aware of. And when something is dark and black, it means it's something that I am unaware of. And I want people to understand okay, that for the past 5 years, being aware that I'm being used in this way, that this infiltration of my mind has been so severe, it has crippled me. It has stolen my life away. Because it's not just something that occupies my mind where I am looking at these dark bubbles trying to figure out what they are. Because here's the thing, okay? When a bubble surfaces in my mind, and I'm not really completely aware of it, it first usually comes as an emotion, and I will get an overwhelming flood of emotions, okay? And I want to talk about, there's a particular relationship that I had with a man who was my spouse when I was in the original, my original life in the SSP, okay, from when I was a child. Okay, it was a splice that had happened when I was a child. And this person ended up dying in my life, okay? And I learned how to live without him. But since remembering, I have been over inundated with grief for the loss of this relationship, even though when I was in the SSP as a child, or spliced, okay, from that moment when I was a child, I had long since grieved for him and moved on. I have been wondering, why am I so brokenhearted over this relationship? Okay. And I finally came to the realization it's because I have an altar currently, right now, concurrently in the SSP, where I am once again in relationship with this man. And I do believe that either the SSP on the whole is a corrupt organization, or just this man is, and he is a leader in the military of the SSP, okay? That he is corrupt, and that he is deliberately manipulating me for his own benefit, and that when he splices me back into this life, I believe he is intentionally leaving the emotions that I have from that life, from that splice, to just fuck with me here, to silence my voice, to stop me from figuring this out. Because this entire time, I thought the feelings that I was feeling and the perpetual grief that I was feeling, and it's crippling, okay? Every time you remember somebody that you loved in the SSP, at least for me, it's like them dying, okay? It's like them dying the moment that they were born into my life. And this keeps happening over and over and over again. But when I realized that the feelings that I was having were not from my past life, but were from a concurrent altar, because I'm being spliced every freaking night, my heart broke again, that I am being used like this by my own government, who I believed to protect me. And I'm not standing for it anymore. Perhaps there's nothing that I can do about it, but I am not giving up. I'm going to speak about it and speak against it in the very least, and that is what I am doing right now. How deep the corruption goes, I don't know. Is the SSP corrupt? Or is it just this particular individual? So whether or not the corruption is one or the other, I'm making a plea for help. This is my SOS. I need the splicing to stop. It is giving me brain damage. It is ruining my physical body. It is ruining my mind. It's ruining my life because of the mutable aspects of my mind. Whether or not these emotions are intentionally left, I do not care. I am sick and tired of being overwhelmed with these emotions and these memories. Okay, so going back to my drawing. I have been inundated with all sorts of memories. One in particular is my son, Jasper, who is a son that I became pregnant from being a slave, okay, where I was kept as a childbearing woman by somebody that I call the Anunnaki king. I'll go into that some other time, but I believe him to be the current Anunnaki king who basically, I think, rules this entire solar system. I think he's the head of the snake, so to speak, of the slave system. And Jasper has been in my mind a lot lately. I love him to death. I worry about him more than perhaps any of the other children I have remembered, mostly because of who his father is. And that his father is a wretched human being. So I need people to understand that when this memory of my son came up and all of the tyranny and the torture and abuse that I endured by this particular man, so that I would become pregnant with him, it consumes all of my energy. You have no idea how taxing it is, remembering torture, remembering being abused, remembering seeing other people being abused in such a way, and remembering the love that I had for my son and not knowing where he is and having no ability to take care of him or to save him or to contact him or to find out where he is, just find out how he's doing. When an emotion and a memory comes up and it is not clear, it's always black at first, it is always convoluted, it is always hard to see. I have to spend a great deal of time trying to understand what it is. And I cannot tell you how much throughout the day, my mind is split. Half of me is here and half of me is back there, where I am looking at these things, trying to understand what they are, trying to understand why I am feeling what I am feeling. You know, I think a lot about what pain is. And I think of, like, you know, when you go to the dentist and you get a cavity filled in, and how that nerve gets overwhelmed and overloaded and is just inflamed. And I thought to myself, maybe pain is just being overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed in every aspect of my life. I am in constant emotional and psychological pain, not just from these bleed throughs, okay, but from being spliced. I need people to understand how hard it is to feel like you're missing yourself, okay? People talk about phantom pain when they have a hand that is removed or an arm or a leg, and the kind of pain that they feel perpetually, thinking that that limb is there, but it's gone. I have the same kind of pain from these splices and from having my memories removed. There's a certain emptiness and a void that exists, and it is overwhelming. Aside from remembering and seeing the different timelines and seeing how they're changing, currently, my present conclusion with this particular altar is that she is a legitimate altar. She does not care for me. She knows that I am back here. She sees me as her dark self. She has been DNA changed, so her face is different. And I believe that the current SSP organization thinks her to be a legitimate member with a very different history. But I have to tell you, the woman who is in a relationship with, I will just give his initials, TRB, that is me. And I did not give permission for this. Now, another timeline that was just present and recently changed, okay, is I started making a really big stink about this, okay, in my prayers, voicing my concern with my husband, David. And there was a council that existed in the SSP who was created on behalf of the American military, whose job was to understand what is going on in the universe. They were being trained by ETs, okay, by extraterrestrials who are teaching them about consciousness and what is occurring in the universe. And their job was to pursue anything related to any kind of crimes against humanity. And I had the memory that I stood before this council about this splicing, this particular technique. And I see, I had to redefine what it means to be a person, okay? And in my opinion, any walled off consciousness, okay, any consciousness that has any walls is a different person, is an individual person. I am a different person than that person in the SSP. And I made the case that I deserve a say in whether or not I am used this way. The person that I am here on earth, they agreed. And when I gave my testimony, I said, no, I do not want to be used this way. All sorts of new things started being rolled out in the timelines. That particular woman started considering, okay, my altar, I call her Eve because she is a child, okay? She's under the thumb of authority. She is very complacent and she flatters authority. Let me put it that way, okay? Sometimes I also call her footloose and fancy-free or happy-go-lucky. How about, let's just use happy-go-lucky. By the way, she is codependent and a sex addict, okay? That's the kind of place that this me is in. And I believe that to create this personality, that she was tortured and that she is a completely different split off from me. So this council heard my testimony, and because of the information they have with time travel, okay, they were able to get the intel of my life before being spliced, okay, and being a secret soldier out in space. And they did learn and were able to confirm that this is a huge burden for me because of the way my mind works. And that I said no, and they acknowledged my personhood, and for me to be a different person from her, and that she's basically using my body. Okay, that's how I look at it. She's using my body and mind, and that they put a stop to it. And they have put in a new protocol for any person who is being used in this way, and there are many other people who are being used in this way, they would have to give their explicit permission. And they would have to be having full disclosure in how their life would change as a result of living this alternate life, okay? It is a human-made wannabe incarnation. And I said no, and it stopped. But guess what? The timeline changed, and I cannot remember or recall if this particular council exists anymore. And that means I believe that it does not exist, which is a crying shame because it's something sorely needed. So is the SSP corrupt? I keep asking myself. I had a memory this morning where because of the targeting I do believe that I have been continually attacked, okay, in particular by this Anunnaki king, okay, because he is hiding the secret that Jasper is my son, and he gave Jasper to his first wife. He has many wives, I don't know, 20, 30 wives, in addition to concubines. Okay, this man does whatever the hell he wants, but he did not want the information to come out that Jasper is my son, and I will go into detail about this. But because he has been attacking me here on Earth, the SSP has been having a protective detail on me. And when he attacks, they freeze time, they can rewind it, they fix things. It looks like nothing ever happened. They erase my mind, they erase David's mind. But I recently had a recall of one of these particular events where there was a very bad car accident, or it was actually an accident with a semi that rolled over and hit several other vehicles. And there was just like, it was a mess. There was furniture all over the road and blah, 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 blah. Okay. But I encountered this altar because she is part of the protective detail, and she couldn't care a wink about me. And not only that, but there was another individual that came to her defense and said, we got this all figured out. Oh yeah, do you? You got it all figured out? Bullshit. But everybody on that team that heard me complaining and asking for answers and asking for them to stop, they all turned their backs and walked away. So because of this particular memory, I'm inclined to think that the entire SSP is corrupt, that they're not the good guys. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want. And so this is my other plea. If there's anybody good in the SSP, you need to stop TRB. I believe he has his own set of his technology and he is fucking with me. Not only that, but if the SSP is corrupt, then I'm asking for any other military, any other timeline, any other group that agrees with me that this business of mind control and altars is wrong, please step in. This is my plea for help. I am going insane and I need for this to stop now. However much I have learned to cope, however much I have learned to find my center, it does not matter. I do not deserve to live like this. I'm getting brain damage, and I also know and believe and have remembered that there is proof of this type of brain damage and that this information is being hidden. But I have problems with cognition. I have problems with sorting things. I have problems with problem solving. It is taking its toll on my physical body, on my mind, on my brain, on my consciousness, on my emotional self, my emotional health. And I am just put back here on Earth, left to defend for my fucking self, left alone. So fuck you. All those in cahoots, all those who don't care. My plea is to anybody who does fucking care. Do something now. So on that happy note, I'm going to end this. I will go into this more later. I have other diagrams. I've remembered some devices and tools that they used to make altars and programming something that I would receive. Okay, some mental devices that they made inside my mind to enable altars to even be a thing, to enable memory implants. I want to talk more about this. I want to talk about how my mind is working and my awareness and how I can remember several layers deep into my subconscious. My mind continues to be fractured, and I do not deserve to live like this. I'm done. Do you understand? I am done. So stay tuned. When I will go into more detail, I will explain my drawing some more. I will explain altars. Oh, this is something else I wanted to say. I believe I am being sold where other altars are being activated, and I'm going on missions for the benefit of the SSP or people within the SSP so that they can buy technology that is theirs, so they can have control over me. Because it's not just being an altar in the American SSP. I've been going on several missions in the breakaway where I am assassinating people. And I do not have my mind. I am being triggered, and I have remembered being triggered and programmed. And I think I'm somebody different, and I think I'm an orphan. Okay. All right. I'm done for today. It is because of the way my mind is working in this overload that I have not been able to do more disclosure. I am getting better, and I keep fighting. I will be doing more. And I do plan to do more on this particular subject very soon in the near future here. So thank you. Thank you for all those who are listening. It does mean a great deal to me. And for those of you who are assigned to defend, to be the good guy, do something now.